For essentially your first love.
Mm-hmm.
How did you meet your first love?
Well, what happened was actually, it was a strange thing. I don't know if people will relate to this, but there have only been 3 times in my life that I've really fallen for anyone. And each time, on first sight, something has clicked in my head that told me I was going to know that person. And it happened with Anselmo across a lobby. So I met him in that lobby, and I didn't understand why the click happened. This is a man in a Brazilian hotel. I'm never going to see him again. Why did that happen? I didn't understand what was going on. This was the first love of my entire life. This was the first person I ever shared my life with. It was tragic that I lost him, but it was a wonderful, wonderful experience meeting him.
How old were you then?
I was 27, and I just started my first proper relationship, which is pretty old, isn't it, really? Unfortunately, within 6 months, I knew that he was terminally ill. So it was a very strange first love. It was very distorted by the situation, but it was also a wonderful experience,
And so he died was it 1993?
1993, that's right.
And it was an AIDS-related illness.
About 3 months before I lost my court case, yes.
Right.
So it was not a good year.
Right.
It was AIDS-related, yeah. I mean, he was a couple of years older than me. He very likely picked it up in New York before people had any inkling that New York was actually a hotbed of this new disease.
One of the signatures of being truly and deeply in love, of course, is that you want to sing about it from the rooftops. You want to tell everyone. I mean, how open were you about the love affair?
Well, see, unfortunately, I wasn't writing anything. I'd already just released an album when I met him, and then by the time I actually made another album, he died, which is what the album was about. And to be perfectly honest, I think my best album, I think it probably will always be my best album, and I never want to be that inspired again, as I say to people,
That's a very bittersweet situation, isn't it? That your most creative period, something that, and also one of your most popular albums, older, is something that came out of such pain. Can you reconcile those two feelings, or will they always be a degree of dissonance between them?
No, I think the album is a beautiful reminder of him. I wouldn't go through it again to make a great album. Don't get me wrong. This man's life was much more important to me than entertaining people. I never want to feel that loss. I'd never want to feel that depth of emotion again. I hope he's very, very proud of it somewhere. It was very obvious that I was going through something personal that meant I couldn't face the world. What I was actually going through personally was dealing with the fact that the person I cared for most in the world had a terminal illness, and I didn't know how long that terminal illness would be. I didn't know when I would ever be happy enough to write another song. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. At that point in time, I had no idea what to do. And it was such a dark period of my life, and I thought it was just going to continue that way. I really did. So I struggled with huge depression, especially after my mother died. I struggled with huge depression, and there's a bad combination here. There's someone who doesn't take bereavement very well. I don't think any of us do, but some of us, I think, take longer to recover than others. And there's a situation where you're your own boss, so no one's kicking you up the arse to get out there and live again and see the positive, But 2 bereavements, losing a lover and your mother within the space of 3 years, is a tough one.